Hello YouTube, XxMason here, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a review of the Nokia Lumia 830. Let's get to it. Okay, so I'm not going to try and make this review too long because right now my arms are like extra sore. So I'm just going to talk about the main things and my main opinions that I have with this phone and see if I can steer you in a direction if you're thinking about getting it or not. The first thing that I want to talk about obviously with this phone is the operating system. And this is new to me. This is my first Windows phone that I've used. So it was a new experience to me. So once I first got it, me being a 16-year-old, go to high school, all the apps that I usually use include Snapchat, Instagram, Vine, Kick, all these things. But with the Windows operating system, you can't get any of those apps. The only app that I was able to use myself was Facebook, Skype, PayPal, things like that. But I weren't able to use the things that all the people my age are currently using, like I said, like Snapchat or Instagram. So that was something that made me not be able to use this phone every day, and I would never be able to use this phone as my main phone until it adds support for those third-party applications. But yeah, that was the first thing that really like turned me off on this phone, is the Windows operating system. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about besides the operating system is the design of the phone. This phone kind of threw me off because it's different from all my other phones that I've recently used, because the volume buttons are on the right side. It has the power button lower than the volume buttons, which is really not a good placement for me. With my hand size, it'll probably be better for others, but the power button isn't in a good place for me. And then you have a third button, which is a camera opening button, so if you press it you can open the camera. That was really weird to me that they put all the buttons on one side. I'm not sure why they did that. I would have rather switched the power button with the volume buttons and flipped the volume buttons to the other side. That would have made it fit better in my hands for my use, but like I said, it might fit better with some others. So that was a complaint that I had with the placement of the buttons. On the back we have our 10 megapixel pure view camera, which I'll talk about later in the review, and we have our big speaker at the bottom of the device. And we have our charging port at the top. We also have our 3.5mm headphone jack at the top. And we have a 5-inch 720p display. Now the display isn't 1080p, but it was pretty good for me. Like I could use the phone without recognizing anything, but people with, you know, Android eyes or just mega eyes could like probably zoom in and see a pixel. But for me it was pretty good. I really didn't have any problem with the screen. It looks good. The colors are represented nicely, so I really didn't have any problem with the screen. But yeah, that's the design. Now for speed and usage, normally I didn't have any problems with it. Like I could go through the phone, I wouldn't have any problems. They may seem like a tiny lag, but for me I really didn't recognize it all the time. It was pretty good with me opening apps, closing apps, getting back to the home screen. And like the transitions that it has make it seem faster. Like if it didn't have the transitions, it'll probably be faster, but with the transitions, no, without the transition, it'll probably act slower, but the transitions kind of make it seem like it's going faster. I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like the phone is pretty speedy. Like I said, I wasn't able to use many apps with this phone, so the battery life is pretty good. It only has a 2,200 milliamp hour battery, but since I wasn't able to use this phone heavily because of the low availability of apps, I was able to get throughout a full day easily. So the battery life is pretty good. If we talk about the camera, we have a 10 megapixel back facing camera, and right now you're looking at pictures that I've taken and videos that I've taken with the camera. It's pretty nice. And we have a front facing camera as well. You're also seeing pictures from that, and you're seeing videos from that as well. So you can judge how good the camera is on your own from what you're seeing, and tell me if you like it in the comments down below. It isn't the best. The back-facing camera does shoot 1080p, but it does have problems with handling exposure and changes in exposure and focusing. It's not the fastest, but it's not extra slow, but it's a good camera for the price point that this phone has. But yeah, that's just a quick review. You guys really are seeing everything that I've talked about and everything that I can talk about when it comes to this phone. Like I wasn't able to play many games. I wasn't able to get many games for myself because the Windows Store, it just wasn't the best in my opinion. Like I talked about earlier, I wasn't able to use this phone. I probably would never be able to use this phone until Windows gets more availability for apps. But yeah, that's just my quick review over the Nokia Lumia 830. If you guys are looking for a phone, I would say I would get this phone for a second phone. If someone got a first phone and then they used it and then they got used to it, then this could be their second phone, and then after that you can upgrade them to something better like an iPhone or a Galaxy S6 or something like that. But this is a good phone to use. This could be, for me personally, I would use this as like a punishment phone, so my kids wouldn't be able to get on Snapchat and Instagram, but they'll still be able to have all the other features like calling, texting, Skype, things like that. But yeah, that's just me. It's not really a bad phone. If you guys like the Windows operating system, I'm sure you will enjoy this phone. So don't think that I'm just bashing the phone. It's just that I don't like the Windows operating system myself. But with that, that's the review of the Nokia Lumia 830. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. My arms are really hurting right now, so I wasn't able to do many hand gestures. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Deuces, YouTube.